Hey everyone, it's Richard, CEO of altFINS. In today's trading video, I will show you how to use altFINS to find trading ideas and how to use Altrady tool for optimal trade execution. Specifically today, I'll demonstrate how to find short selling trade ideas, and then I'll show you how to set it up on Altrady. As I mentioned, I think the combination of altFINS and Altrady for execution is very powerful and can increase your success rates. So let's go ahead and start with altFINS platform for trade idea discovery. Now, the markets have been generally in a downtrend, right? You can see that on the trend tab here. Bitcoin is on the downtrend in the medium term, kind of neutral in the long term. It's actually in a better shape than most other altcoins, with some exceptions. Like XRP, Litecoin, and a few others that have fared better. Now, so in a downtrend, what I like to do is trade with the trend. I mean, that's honestly what most traders do. You trade with the trend. Trend is your friend because trends continue or have a tendency to continue. Now, so the other reason I want to trade with the trend or with the downtrend is I want to find some short selling ideas. I do have some long ideas. I'm buying some altcoins, hoping for a trend reversal, but I want to hedge that with some short selling positions as well. And to do that, to find those kind of trading ideas, you can do that in the chart patterns section, certainly, also in the technical analysis section. But I start with the signal summary. And basically, short selling, my approach to short selling is that I want to find an asset that's already in a downtrend because trends have a tendency to continue. But I want to short sell it on a bounce up. And ideally, I want to short sell it when it bounces up to a certain resistance level. And so short selling is kind of the opposite, or this approach is kind of the opposite of buying dips in an uptrend. When an asset is in an uptrend, I want to buy it when it dips and then resumes its uptrend, and it dips and resumes its uptrend, right? I want to buy the dips in an uptrend. Well, in a downtrend, I want to short sell it when it bounces up and then it resumes downtrend, and it bounces up, becomes oversold here, it bounces up and resumes its uptrend until at some point it actually does reverse the trend. So, if you're looking for dips in an uptrend or pullbacks in an uptrend, then we already have a preset filter, market filter, that scans 3,000 assets that will find those opportunities for you. But there's very few of them right now, only 13. There's far more assets that are in a downtrend and have bounced up. 254 assets that are in a strong downtrend and have bounced up. So let's take a look at those. So I click on that link. That takes me to the screener with the result of that filter. The filter is here. It basically says, show me all the assets that are in a downtrend on the medium term and on the long term basis, are not oversold, right? And that the week performance is up 5%. So as you can see, in terms of the trend, all of these are in the downtrend. In terms of performance, all of these are up in the last week, because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that bounce. They got really oversold, have bounced up, right? Right on the top here on this list is Bitcoin Cash. It's up 20%. 25% in the last 24 hours, 32% in the last week. Let's take a look at it. This could be a good short selling opportunity on the bounce up because it is in a downtrend, as I mentioned, on the trend basis, right? So let's take a look at the details of this setup. I'm going to get rid of the 50-day moving average. Let's pull up a 6-month chart here. And you can also launch a trading view chart if you like, right here, but this is sufficient for me. So as you can see, the price broke below the 200-day moving average. This is the 200-day moving average, and that's a signal of a downtrend. Now it's bounced up, right? It got all the way down to $300. It's bounced up. Now it's approaching back to that 200-day moving average. Now 200-day moving average can act as a support or a resistance. In this case, because we're approaching it from below it, it is resistance. And it's quite effective as a resistance. We can take a look at other examples of recent price action in some other assets, and you'll see here for Bitcoin, 200-day moving average actually acted as support 2-3 times very successfully. For Solana, 200-day moving average now is acting as resistance. Look at that. It's gotten closer to it a few days ago and got rejected. Similarly, Binance also got close to it and got rejected. If we go back to this list that we have here, in fact, as well, we can probably see some examples of where 200-day moving average has acted as resistance. Let's see, right here, Zcash. So now, the other thing about Bitcoin Cash, it is actually one of the assets where we have a more detailed technical analysis available here. So when I blow that up, you'll see that it's broken out of the channel down pattern, right? Obviously, that has created an opportunity on the long side, but now it's up from that breakout level. It's up 25-30%. So it's reaching a very stiff resistance area, because it's not only that it's 200-day moving average, but that also lines up with a horizontal resistance of $400. This $400 has acted as a resistance here in the past. Where's that? That's back in July, a couple of times. Again here, that was again in November, right? And then once it was broken, then it acted as support. And once it gets broken as support, it becomes a resistance. That's a concept known as polarity. When the support gets broken, it becomes resistance. When resistance gets broken, it becomes support. But the same level is a very key level, and that appears to be a $400 level, which also coincidentally lines up with the 200-day moving average. So I think that's a really stiff resistance area where I think this bounce will run out of steam, and we'll see a pullback as some of the traders, making 30% or so, will start taking profits. So now, how to execute this properly? I'll go to Altrady. Altrady is an excellent platform for trade execution, for setting up various scenarios and really optimizing your trade entry and exit. I've demonstrated this in prior videos. Feel free to take a look at our platform for trading videos with Altrady, where I demonstrated going long and executing that trade, I believe with Solana. But now I'm going to show you how to do it with going short. Now, once you connect to some of their exchanges that they support, I've connected to Bybit, then you'll be able to trade directly from their trading terminal. And let's go ahead and find what we want to trade is BCH under Bybit, right? And under futures. You could also trade spot, but if I want to short, it'll be easier with the futures. Now, what I like about the Altrady tool is that it gives me a lot of flexibility, a lot of options on my trade entry and trade exit. In addition to the market limit and market orders, stop loss orders, the standard stuff, they also have this ladder option, which allows me to scale in and scale out of my positions. So based on the technical analysis, trade setups on altFINS, I'd like to short sell Bitcoin Cash or BCH at the level of the 200-day moving average, which is a resistance area. and somewhere above it as well. If oftentimes the price doesn't quite stop there, it maybe overshoots that target or overshoots that resistance area, key level, and then really reverses in the next few days. So I don't want to be too rigid and give myself some room for error. So I don't want to have just I could just place a limit sell order to say sell at 400 and buy back at 350, but I really want to scale into that position possibly. So I want to start my position at 394, which is the 200-day moving average level. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. First of all, I want to sell it. So let's go to Sell tab, Scaling. I want to sell 3 units or 3 tokens. So that's about $1,190. Let's call it $1,200 position. The tool placed some initial order levels, and I want to move them. So first of all, I want to start my first sell order. Short sell order is going to be around that 200-day moving average. Let's move this over so I can see it better. Okay. That's where my first sell order is going to be. And the last one is going to be at 430. So about, let's call it 8%. If I'm 8% wrong from $400, so that's about 432. Okay, that's where I want to be adding to my short sell position, and somewhere in between. So let's call it, I want 3 levels. So there's another one in between there. Let's just double check this. Now, you can scale into this position. You can have 4 levels where you want to buy or sell. 5. I mean, you have a lot of choices here. And the nice part is also that there's different choices on how I want to spread my orders, whether it's linear or exponential, but also the size scale, linear reverse. So right now I have, I believe, linear reverse. Okay. Linear reverse means that I'm going to sell most of my position at the first level, 394, some at the next level, and less or the least at the last level. But I could reverse that. I could say, I want to sell some at 394, more as the price goes even higher, and even more as the price goes to 430. So I get a better entry price. The higher the price goes, I get a better entry price or entry level for my short sell position. So I'm going to choose this one, the linear one, for size scale. But you could also have equal, where each position is about the same size. But I'm going to keep with stick with the linear one. Now, where do I want to take profit, right? Where do I want to close the position? Well, my target, as I mentioned, is 350, right? Which is down here. Okay, but I may take some off the table, right? Some profit off the table a bit sooner. So let's just call it 360 is my first take profit level. And again, I can scale it. Okay. I can just have some fixed prices, fixed levels, or I can scale it and say, okay, I want to exit this position also in 3 bullets or 3 positions. And that way, my first take profit is going to be 360. My second one could be at 350, which is really my target. Okay, that's about right here. Oh, okay, now my positions have shifted. Let's do this again. So first one's 360. End price where will be my last one will be about, let's just call it 300. Okay, and then there's a level between those two at 330. Okay, so now I got my entry levels, my exit levels, take profit levels. A couple other things. Again, I can change the size if I'm exiting with equal positions, a third and a third and a third, or I want to exit most of it in the beginning and less at the end, or vice versa, right? If I choose linear, I'll take some profit off the table at 360, a bit more at 330, and really a lot more at 300. But I'm going to keep it equal. All right. Now, I also want to use a stop loss. Very important when trading is three things. Using stop losses, the right position size, meaning less than 2% of your portfolio should be at risk. And the last thing is the right reward to risk ratio. How much are you willing to lose versus how much you're going to gain potentially. So in this case, my stop loss, the system already placed a stop loss at $460. And that would mean, and this is a nice feature of the platform as well, that I would potentially be risking 6.7% of my portfolio. That's a bit too much, okay? So I can move the stop loss. So where would I give up on this trade? This is actually not a bad place for a stop loss, because if we go back to our technical analysis, I'd say the next major resistance area is at 500, but there's also one between these, between the 400 and 500 level at about 350. I'd say there's another minor resistance area. So if it breaks above that, then I have to admit I was wrong. So stop loss at 460 is fine, but I don't want to risk 7.5% of my portfolio. This is a very small test portfolio, but for demo purposes, I want to really risk only about 2% of my portfolio. Okay, and what that does, it adjusts my trade size. Originally, I had a trade size of 1,200, but that was too much. My appropriate trade size with all these conditions and stop loss levels is really $378. This is a great feature because having the right trade size is very important. You don't want to bet too much on any given trade. That way, I don't stress about it. I'll just let it play out. I can go sleep, and the most I'm going to lose is 2% of my portfolio. All right, so this is a nice feature to have as well. So at this point, it's all set. So this is the kind of flexibility that this tool provides, and I think it's extremely helpful, and it really does increase my success rates because usually there's not just one single price you want to enter at. You want to typically scale your positions, your entry levels, and the same thing with the exit levels as well. All right, so that's it for this video today. Let's see how this trade plays out. If you have any questions, please email us at invest@altfins.com, and good luck trading.